Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Tay, and usually I have a co host named Ryan. Our first guests are back. Charlotte and James are world travelers, and we are catching up and talking about their last weeks of travel. I feel like there's a lot of Hawaii subliminal messages in my podcast, but digress. If you're into couple traveling, hiking, van life, and Brits visiting America, and if you're into correct pronunciation of the English language, not like us peasants in the colonies, check out this episode. First half of this was when they were coming back from New Zealand, or right before. So this is catching up since they left New Zealand on their way back to the UK. Waste Your Time Wisely is sponsored by Birds Detail. If you're in the LA area and looking for a mobile vehicle wash, please check out birdsdetail.com. I had my cars and my motorcycle detailed by them. It's great. Do it while you're occupied, do it before your big date, do it while you're listening to this podcast. Now, here's the episode.
Welcome to Waste Your Time Wisely podcast.
Bam. Hello.
Hey, Tate.
How are you? It's I think it's been has it been 4 months or 3 months since we last talked? When did you leave New Zealand?
We left, I think it was like the first week of February. So yeah, good like 4 months.
Yeah, like a fiscal quarter. It's
Yeah.
And then where are you guys now?
We can keep that thing going. We're currently in Scotland, so north of the UK, if you don't know where Scotland was.
Americans are usually pretty bad with maps. A good example is when Russia invaded Crimea. They were asking Americans where they think Ukraine is. And then if I think if you get like somewhere in like Eastern and Central Europe, you should be fine. But a lot of people got like Nebraska and Alaska. So yeah. But yeah. How are you two doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
all good. Apparently I have something on my teeth.
So since that, where have you been?
Okay, yeah, it's been a pretty big journey, to be fair. So we left New Zealand, first week of Feb, and we got on a direct flight to Hawaii. So we went Auckland to Honolulu, and we crossed the date line, which is a pretty cool experience. I don't think many people do too often in their lives. So it was it was Valentine's Day. That was it. So we had Valentine's Day twice.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So we took off at like 6 in the evening on Valentine's Day. We landed at like 10 o'clock in the morning on Valentine's Day. Had Valentine's Day all over again.
Yeah, two Valentine's Day.
Yeah, got double. And then we took an internal flight and went straight away from Honolulu to Kahului, which is in Maui. Hope I got pronounced that right. Sorry if I did, to the Hawaiian people out there. And then we spent a few days in Maui, almost a week in Big Island, and a few days in Oahu. And then we flew to San Francisco, a few days in San Francisco, flew to Vegas, got married in Vegas. Big whoops to us. So we're sort of 3-4 months married now, big moves. And we did Death Valley and Red Rock Canyon and loads of cool stuff like that while we're in Vegas rather than just gambling, which is cool. Which is an experience. And then we flew back to the UK. And then we spent, because we've been away for like almost 2 years, we spent most of like the first month back just seeing family, which our family is all over the place. So like London, Wales, Scotland, and we've sort of moved to Scotland now to sort of carry on the travels and adventures, but just in the UK. And we've not done an awful lot of Scotland between us, and there's more mountains here in the north of Scotland than there are in pretty much the whole rest of the UK. So yeah, that's our plans for the foreseeable.
Nice. I'm gonna try to recap all that throughout the episode. So when you when you did the time zone, do you remember what time you left New Zealand and what time you arrived?
Yeah, it was like 6 or 7 in the evening. And then we arrived at like, I think it must have been like 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning.
The day before.
Yeah, but the same day. It's just so peculiar.
Like time traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legit time travel. And because we didn't do that on the way here, we traveled east from the UK, like UK, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. We went like that way. So now we've done we've done a full lap of the globe.
Is the Earth flat? Is the Earth flat or is it round? What do you
No,
think?
definitely round. Technically, I want to say we're a day younger, but now that we're back in the times that we started, maybe we're not anymore a day younger.
Sad.
Yeah.
Every time there's a leap year, I'm like, I'm gonna use this extra day to get things done. It's just the same day. No, I wanted to do this thing where I think I celebrate New Year's in New Zealand and then fly to Hawaii like the next flight out, and then celebrate
Really?
another New Year's. That was my plan, but I don't know how
Yeah.
it's gonna work. But we'll try to plan it. When
Yeah.
you're in Hawaii, did you land in Honolulu?
Yeah, we landed in Honolulu, but we got a connecting flight almost like an hour or 2 hours later. So we didn't really see Honolulu then. We sort of saw it at the end of the trip. We sort of our last 2 or 3 days were in Honolulu. Yes, we spent most of our time in Maui and Big Island, just because we enjoy drinking, going out, but sort of Honolulu partying wasn't quite our scene where we were at that time. So yeah, we were way up for climbing volcanoes and doing all the national parks, that kind of stuff. That was what we were there for.
Nice. How long were you in Honolulu?
So we did. Well,
2 days, wasn't it? 3 days?
I think it was like 3 days for 2 nights. We stayed in a hostel on Waikiki Beach, and we just did like the touristy like malls that are there. Yeah, Waikiki Beach, and then we also tried to do a few hikes. We went and tried to do the Will Nui hike, but it just absolutely honked down with rain because we were there in like the winter season. I didn't realize how much it was going to rain there. I thought, it's pretty close to the equator. It's going to be, lovely. And we had rain. I think we had rain every single day we were in Hawaii, the whole like 15, 16 days we were there.
Yeah, they don't have rain on the postcards, do they? They only have
No,
sunshine. Yeah.
it rained so much. But yeah, so as soon as you got any altitude as well into those mountains, it just, calms it down. But we did the Lanikai Beach pillbox hike, which is on like the north coast. And we actually may preferred like the east and the north of the island. It was like suddenly out of the big city and more like the beaches just seemed nicer and a bit more empty, and just the vibes were just a bit nicer. Yeah, really enjoyed that.
Here's a fun Hawaiian fact based on this podcast. So you guys were there in February, going into like March before you got to San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
So about a month ago, my co-host was there. The woman who does the voice was there at the same time, and then one of the sponsor was there. And I guess I missed the memo. And then I travel fairly a lot. I've never been to Hawaii. I've never been to the island of Hawaii. I was supposed to go there for like a military training, and then it got canceled. And then I
Oh
went to
yeah.
yeah, I went to Washington instead for it, but I never been there, and then it's not that I don't want to. I have a fear if I go there, I'm not gonna leave. I'm just gonna be a beach bum, just like
Yeah.
leave. So
Be good. I mean, it'd be a great posting to have you for the military. I think there's a Marine base there somewhere. I
yeah,
think it's
there's a and then one of the islands has Pearl Harbor. That's the big Navy base.
yeah.
Yeah, so were you near any active volcanoes there?
Yeah, well,
Back to
we
volcano.
we went to so we did Volcanoes National Park,
Yeah.
and can't not that I could pronounce it, even if I could remember it. I can't remember the
It's
name of the biggest
it's
one.
it's too hard.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
spelling bee word I'd never wanna say. Yeah.
But it wasn't active while we were there. I mean, you could see steam coming off it. But I think it was like last week it came up on like social media or one of the feeds that it's just erupted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it is huge. It's like, the crater is like 20 football fields or something. It is enormous. And yeah, it takes like days to walk around it. It's so big.
What just happened? Anyway, and then I'm assuming you have all your feet. I know it's cut off right now, but you have all your limbs and feet and legs.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Volcano.
no amputations. We're all good. Sorry, I was getting told off for picking my skin around my fingers.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's good to. That's why we have women around, right?
gotta remind you.
They give you good reminders that men wouldn't. I have so many questions about engagement and the wedding, but I don't want to jump around. I kind of want to go in chronological order. So like I'm like fighting that temptation. I'm like, stop. And then I want to be like back to Vegas. But after that, did you camp anywhere in Hawaii or were you always sleeping indoors?
No, we didn't camp. Well, we found it kind of hard to actually organize accommodation because everywhere was crazy expensive. And if you like look at the cheapest Airbnbs, they're actually camper vans, not Airbnbs. Like you have to rent someone's camper. We're like, oh, maybe we'll do that. But then we went and read some blogs and some reviews, and it's really hard to like park anywhere. There's no like camping sites
Mm-hmm.
for like camper vans and things like that. And it all just seemed like just suddenly got crazy complicated to do. So we thought we'd just find the cheapest real Airbnb, and then just go from there.
Well, we were in we did one well, didn't we? Where we stayed in it's kind of like a cabin in the woods, like legit.
Yeah,
It was really
but yeah, it was.
cold shower.
We use this website called Book a Batch, which is
Yeah.
like a batch is like a holiday house in
Yeah.
New Zealand, and we rocked up and it was in the middle of absolute nowhere.
Yeah.
We're in Big Island, and it's sort of like 40 minutes south of Hilo. Yeah, driving to the absolute middle of nowhere, and you get to this this like like corrugated iron fence, and there's there's a keypad and all that sort of stuff. Go inside the compound, and there were these 3 like eco kind of pods, but they were all made out of like, you could tell the guy had literally just made them in his spare time, because you could see all like the MDF beams, and like he'd stapled everything down, and they worked okay. I mean, there was power from like 9 in the morning until 6 at night or something. Yeah, I don't know. There was power for some of the time, and there was running water most of the time.
The water was recycled water as well, so it wasn't very warm, which was okay. And it was quite cold, but it was like authentic, and it was quite cool. And they just had like dogs running around and their child running around, actually, who
could not stop talking.
He could not stop talking to us. He was only like 3 or 4, and he just was following us around. And he was trying to get into our like hut to sit with us, and we were like, I don't think this is okay. So I was like, sent you off to try and send this kid back to his parents, and he ended up showing you all sorts of things.
Oh god, he was showing me all of his bicycles and all sorts. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was like $60-$70 a night, if that. And the next cheapest thing is like $200 or $300, and it's not even very like a nice hotel. So we're budget. We'll go for the cheapest thing we can get. And we'd already rented a car. Oh, that's a funny story as well that we definitely have to mention. So the first night in it's Big Island. First night in Big Island, we hung around for a few hours. We rented a car to do this like snorkeling trip with manta rays, which was really, really cool. On our socials somewhere, if you ever see it, absolutely cool. But then you have to do that at night. So we waited around till like 6-7 p.m. sunsets. We went out on the boat, did the tour, and then we had to drive like an hour and a half, probably like 2 hours, 2.5 hours to the other side of the island to our batch. And we're going over this like mountain road, and there's goats just everywhere. And these 3 goats just run out in front of our rental. And we hit the last one, like we slammed the brakes, hit the last one. The front of our car is like crumpled in. And you always have that really awkward chat with like the receptionist when you're renting a car, and they're like, do you want this? Do you want this excess and this insurance, this insurance? And you're like, oh, I thought I'd paid everything. I thought I had insurance. I thought I had all these things.
Luckily, we went.
Yeah, we did.
Bought it all.
We did have insurance. But yeah, like literally the first, I don't know, couple of hours we'd had this car, we'd hit a goat. The grill is all like smashed to pieces, and the number plate is like bent in half. But the goat just got up and ran away and was fine. And we were like, how the hell did that goat survive?
So the goat hit you almost, not you hit it, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Funny if they had a goat insurance. Like, do you want goat insurance? Like, we
Yeah.
don't need goat insurance.
Yeah. This insurance is void of goats. Yeah.
And we've only just had the money back from the
Yeah.
insurance.
Took forever to get the claim back.
It cost $2,000 somehow.
Because the car is then like not being rented, and they're losing the money, and part, no one reads any of those contracts at the rental squiggle
Yeah,
done.
you just signed it to go.
Yeah, and it's for every day the car is out of action before it's fixed, another like $70 for every, this is how much it costs, and then they give you all these bits of paperwork. Like our insurance, they eventually just pay for it all in the end and give us the money back. But it just took like, what were we now? June, so it took us like 2.5 months to get the money.
Did you miss Gandalf at times like that? You're like, where is he?
We miss Gandalf all the time.
God, Gandalf.
Yeah, what a band.
Sad.
Yeah.
I think I dreamt about him last night.
Did you?
Legit.
Yeah. I mean,
It reminded me that.
I don't think he would have fared so well, because we had like, I think it's called a Cherokee, the car we had, like huge, massive
Jeep Cherokee.
4x4. Yeah, like giant thing. And Gandalf like has no crumple zone. I think the goat would have literally gone straight into our feet.
Yeah. Wouldn't have been as soft, for sure.
After that, did you have any other dangerous Hawaiian? I always feel like, because somebody fell into the volcano like last year. Some woman fell in. She got too close. And then I know a lot of people dropped their camera in there, and that's not retrievable. That's gone.
Toast. Yeah.
That's literal toast. Did you have any, not volcano or goat, any
The only other mishap, I went snorkeling a few times, because I didn't realize how many turtles would be around the island. There's loads of turtles everywhere, and they're pretty protected. You can't harass them, but you can go, swim with them, as long as if they come into your space, kind of fine, but don't go and invade their space, that thing. And I was trying to like keep my space, keep my distance, as I was swimming along with this absolutely huge turtle. It was like 2.
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah,
actually,
it was like,
because I was outside watching it, and I was like,
2 meters long. It's bigger than me. Yeah, it's a huge turtle, and this thing's coming towards me, so I start swimming backwards, trying to make some space. And like the rocks in Hawaii, it's all that black, like volcanic rock. It's really sharp, and I just kicked all this rock. Didn't really think of anything. Came out, and I just had like loads of skin missing all over my feet. So yeah, that wasn't too great. but my own fault.
I think the only thing that we came across was that Hawaii was bloody expensive.
Yeah.
Like, so expensive. And we got stung in Maui for sure. Especially because, unfortunately, they had the fires, which were really, really sad and horrific. And that was where our hotel was meant to be, and it was burnt down. So they moved us to this other hotel, but it didn't kind of it didn't tell us the costs extra that it was going to cost being in this hotel. So it was the classic turn up, hand your keys in, and they're like, "Oh, here's this bill. It is an extra
there's a lot of extra.
We're like,
But we this is my first time in America. I didn't realize there's lots of hidden fees, which is a big one for normally. Like, you see a book like this. It's only in America. The rest of the world, what the price is advertised is the price you pay. Whereas there was like an extra $30 a day tourist tax, an extra $30 a day for this extra thing, all these extra things. And because we were staying there, for a couple of weeks, all that added up, and we suddenly had all this extra money to pay, and we just hadn't budgeted for it. So I put it all on the credit card, and then eventually paid it off when we got home. Not ideal. And that one hotel, we got mixed up between New Zealand dollars and American dollars, and that's like, I think New Zealand dollars are like 60% of the value. So that was a way more expensive hotel than we were imagining, and it wasn't even that great.
no, it wasn't.
It was really average.
Mm.
It was just crazy expensive. Like, it was that really part of Maui, Kanapali coast in Maui, and it's just unreal expensive.
It's just like a strip, and it's got all these hotels, and then it's got this big shopping mall on it.
Yeah,
by the beach, and the shopping mall had like fancy shops in it.
It was all designer brand,
and all designer, and it's very like nice if that's what you want. But for us, it's not really what we wanted.
We wanted to go and
slum it a little bit,
and go up some mountains and stuff. But it was a nice beach. I mean,
it was nice,
but just not our typical holiday.
But we didn't choose to be there. That's the thing.
You wanted to be in cabin in the woods, right?
Yeah.
So I think they just passed the law last December, maybe earlier this year, that airlines can't have hidden fees. And then they're trying to change a law, like if there's a cancellation fee, and then they're trying to make this credit card fee like late fees, one flat fee, instead of like based on like your APR and your credit and all that stuff. So it's a weird world where like we have to spend money for business to work and they could pay their workers and yada yada yada, right? That weird cycle of, I mean, they're usually big companies because it's usually not like a mom and pop owning it. So they make plenty of money. But like, I'm speaking of weddings, I'm back on the wedding train, meaning I went to like 14 weddings in a row and then it kind of died out because of COVID and stuff. And then they're back on. And then I already have a back-to-back wedding, and I have another wedding to go to next April in Portugal. So maybe I'll see you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, come down. And then I have another wedding in, I think maybe Colombia, if they're listening. Colombia, not LA, because the bride is Colombian, and then my best friend's in Burbank. So I hope. Yeah, I want to go to Colombia. I don't want to go to a wedding here. At least let me go spend money and go have fun. I'm looking for rooms because it's far away enough where I should spend the night there and not drive back that night. So it's in California, but it's far away where I'm like, I should spend the night. But the rooms are like $350 just for a bed and a window. And I'm not even going to be there. I'm just sleeping. And I'm like, you should just camp out. So yeah, but I'll catch you up on that. That's in the fall. Going back to so how long are we in Hawaii altogether?
I think it's like 15, 16 days altogether.
And we actually cut that down because I think we were supposed to be more 19 days.
Yeah, we were like 3 weeks, but we cut out a week in the end just because an extra week, because we were going to do like a week in each island, essentially 3 weeks. But we cut a week out of the whole thing and did like only 3 days in Oahu in the end, just because it was just unreal expensive. We couldn't afford it. And we were also like really pressed for time in a lot of bits of New Zealand. We just wanted that bit of extra time in a few places to really soak it all in and have a few buffer days, like there's bad weather or something gets cancelled or we don't drive as far as we need to. We just need those buffer days.
It was probably the best decision we made without realizing at the time, because we didn't really anticipate how expensive Hawaii would be. And then I remember we were somewhere in Hawaii, maybe just got to Big Island, and we were like driving around, and I was like, I'm really, really hungry. Let's look for some food. But every time we tried to park, it was like $13 for the hour. And I was like, no way are we parking here.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't find anywhere to park. Then they couldn't find any food. And I think I just looked at you and I think I
had a meltdown. Yeah.
I was like, I'm so hungry. Everything's so expensive.
Were you getting hangry? I was getting hangry 2 days ago. I was, like, livid. I was like, "I didn't eat anything all day," and there was, like, cars driving slow, I'm like, but,
Yeah.
yeah, when you
Yeah.
don't eat and you get angry, that's a whole new
Yeah.
level. Yeah.
So yeah, we just went to like
We went to the supermarket.
yeah, like Kmart or no, one of the marts, whatever
Yeah.
what mart, but yeah, one of those, and that's where we bought our dinner almost every night because we went to like one Italian pizza place in
Oahu.
Waikiki, and we spent like $120, and we were just like, no, we bought a bottle of wine and two pizzas.
Two
Like,
pizzas.
how can it be so expensive? Like, if you did takeout, it'd be like $20.
And then people pay for it, that's the problem. And
Yeah.
going back from Hawaii to did you fly from Honolulu to San Francisco?
Yes.
Yes, we almost did like Honolulu, Maui, Big Island, back to Honolulu, then Honolulu to San Fran.
Yeah, before we leave Hawaii, you have I'm not trying to toot your horn. What do you guys say to, like do you guys say toot your horn? Do you know what that means? Is that
Pick yourself up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't wanna toot your
Yeah.
horn too much, but you have wonderful Instagram content of, like, New Zealand and Hawaii, and I think you're posting more Hawaii stuff now, right?
Yeah, trying to. I mean, just trying to catch up. Sort of did a few little, I want to say vlogs as we went, but we haven't really done like this hike and this hotel and this thing, and that's what I want to try and do. Like now I have a bit of time to actually go and do it.
Nice. Hopefully, this kinda warms up your memory to go back as a refresher, and then this podcast probably won't see the light of day till, like, August 30th. So, you one of the questions I had for you was, since you do have scenic stuff, but to your eyes, and then I guess it's a respectful question for both of you, what was the most, like, scenic experience in Hawaii? Like, what did you see and go like, like, "Oh, this is worth it?"
I think Volcanoes National Park
Yeah.
definitely up there. Just
walking through the middle of a volcano is
yeah.
brilliant.
There was
Insane.
a few bits where I was a bit like it's probably more amazing to see from the air. But being a national park, there's helicopters and stuff. You can't really fly a drone. But then there was one view. Remember we went right to the bottom of that.
That's what I was about to say. Of the road.
Something Drive of Craters or Crater Lane Road, something like that. You go to right to the end, and then it's just like lava all the way down to the sea, and it like drops away to the
Mhm.
ocean, and you just see this like just lava for like miles in every direction, all the way down to the ocean, and then you can see where more recent lava is like really really dark black, and how the old lava has kind of gone all like brown and crusty. And you're like, oh, so that's the lava stream, and you just see the stream, and it's like I don't know, 10, 15 miles long and like a mile wide.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular.
Yeah,
actually.
it was really, really cool to see, and I just like, kind of like that freedom. I'd say definitely Big Island was just unbelievably worth it, and Haleakala, the big volcano in Maui,
Yeah.
where you're at sea level and you can drive up like 3,000 meters. Oh, not 3,000 meters, 3,000 feet.
2,000 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, you can drive up a hell of a lot of feet really, really
Yeah.
quickly in like an hour, and then suddenly you're like way above the cloud inversion, and you're just looking down on everything, and it was like, wow, this is surreal. How do we like just do that?
It's weird for us to actually drive up something and not walk up something. So it was like a bit weird because it was like, oh, I don't feel like that's reward when you've kind of climbed up something.
Well, because we did the famous hike there, the sliding sands hike, and you start at the top and you walk down and then you come back up again.
Yeah, which is
and it's
bizarre.
really backwards. Normally you start at the bottom and then you go to the top. So, that was really cool. And then you can grab a spot for sunset up there, and the sunset is just unreal.
It was
like
unreal.
those are some of the best pictures I've ever taken, and just like zero effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have to be there early though, because it closed off the car park quite quickly. But because we were hiking, we were already there quite early, which was good.
Bring snacks.
Bring snacks and like warm clothes, because oh my god, it was cold.
Yeah, cold pretty quick.
Was there a place where you wanted to bust out the drone, but it was illegal? You're like,
Yeah.
Most places.
Yeah, I mean, like, because America's a lot way more stricter.
Yeah.
On drone stuff, and so all the national parks are just off limits straight away, and that's like 80% of the places we were going was national parks. So couldn't fly them. Would have loved to, and you also have to have, like, if you want to sell your content or use your content for any monetary gain, you have to have extra licenses and blah 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 blah. So it just wasn't worth it.
We have a drone pilot licensing here because when the drones first came out, like, the little ones everybody used to play around with, like the hand.
Yeah.
And then when they start getting bigger with like really nice cameras, I think people were just playing around with it, but it would always get stuck in like a tree or someone's like, or it will take out electric wire because Americans are crazy. They're like, you think you could go through those gaps? Yeah, watch me. And then they'll get stuck.
There's actually there's a law at the moment. Sorry to interrupt. There's a law in your Congress at the moment. I keep seeing, just because I follow DJI drones on some sort of social, they keep saying about how the Congress is about to ban all drones in America.
Yeah.
And it's going to be voted on quite soon. And they're like, please don't let us. But it's like, I think it's something about not buying new drones. Anything that's there already is kind of like can't stop us. It's really really got one, but there might be a big ban on buying new drones in America.
There was a weird law, and then it's like some state's gonna sue. That's what happens here. When there's a
Yeah.
federal law, a state will sue the government, and it's
Okay.
it's it's a whole mess. But with that being said, let's talk about another wonderful state, California. So you flew to
Oh,
San
yeah.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Did you fly into San Francisco or San Jose or Oakland or?
Yeah, it was Central San Fran.
Yeah.
And we stayed in an Airbnb.
Airbnb. It was
I can't remember what the neighborhood was called, but it was like one of the southern, like a bit out of the city type suburbs. And yeah, we got the bus into town a couple of days, and yeah, just enjoyed the city. It was really really nice. I actually really liked it.
we had a
Yeah,
brilliant bluebird day for it. It was cold for us because we haven't been there, and we realised that, oh my lord, it's cold. We're wearing jeans for the first time in so long, but
Yeah.
it was perfect. We were dirty, and it was one of those days where you just walk and you stumble across everything.
Yeah.
It was just great.
yeah, really really cool. We did the there's a fortune cookie
Fortune
factory
cookie factory.
in
was
in
good.
Chinatown. That was really cool.
And it tasted quite nice.
Yeah. And then, as we were saying, we wore jeans for the first time in like a year. And then someone was selling bike tours, and we were sat there looking at this bike tour, and it was like, oh, you rent a bike for like, whatever dollars, and then you can cycle all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. I was like, oh, I don't have to buy a tour bus or a boat or a taxi or anything like that. We just do it on a bicycle, and it's a really lovely path. But we're in jeans. So we did this whole bike tour in jeans, jackets and rucksacks and stuff. But it was amazing. You can cycle all the way over the Golden Gate Bridge, see all of the main viewpoints, and then cycle to Sausalito, like a little town a bit further north. It came with like a free drink voucher. So we had a free drink, had lunch, and then we just got the boat back.
Yeah,
It was
great.
amazing. It was such good
We
value.
went past Alcatraz.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
decided that we weren't going to go on to Alcatraz because of like money and stuff, but
didn't-
we got close enough. So
You didn't swim there? You didn't want
Nah.
to you didn't want to prove people wrong that it's doable?
Well, I kept saying that to her the whole way. I was like, you could swim this. You could, but it's cold water.
you would
It's
not
real
be able
cold.
to swim there.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
I think it's swimmable if you had someone following you on a boat.
I think it's
Like,
swimmable if you trained.
yeah, if you train, but I think for like a prisoner who has to escape, it's probably early morning or late at night, and it does get pretty choppy over there if you see in the water.
If you're a prisoner escaping, it's probably adrenaline that you're going off
Yeah.
there.
And then there's sharks in that water, lots and lots of sharks.
Yeah. And tons of seals. There's loads of seals.
Did you see them all in the pier just hanging out?
I mean, there was like 30 of these like wooden floating boards,
And they all share.
but they had all squeezed onto one board and were like laying on top of each other. It was quite funny to watch.
Yeah, and then they make those wonderful noises. So it's cute, but they actually like like an hour south, like on the bay, there's a place called Maverick that's like a big surf spot, and the waves are really big, but it's also a great white like breeding and like feeding grounds.
Oh, right.
So they don't discriminate, like if you're surfing or if you're swimming in the water with turtles, they'll probably think you're a seal. They're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And they always test things out with their teeth first before they ask you if they could bite you. So that's a and then San Francisco is just cold. I think a lot of people underestimate that. It's like windy. It's much colder than LA. It's much colder than probably anywhere else in California that's not the mountains.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. February, March, it was pretty chilly. But like when the sun came out, it was like okay in its
Yeah.
for a while. Once we had a beer.
I loved San Francisco. Like
Yeah.
I'd heard such negative press about it from quite a few people saying, like the homelessness and the crime rate had gone up and all this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you're from London and you've seen a lot of things and you've been around the world, like it was just another place. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure most cities have
Yeah.
this anyway.
Good neighborhoods, bad neighborhoods.
Good and bad. You just be extra careful, and just extra, which we have been. And we probably only saw like the tourist spots anyway. But I guess, yeah, I really loved it. I loved walking around Little Italy. I loved all the restaurants. We had probably one of the best Italians out of Italy there.
Really?
Yeah, good. Over in North Beach?
North Beach,
Something like that. Yeah. Really liked it.
I like how that's the first place you guys wore jeans in a while because Levi's is from there. Levi's jeans is from San
Oh,
Francisco. And then
Both-
Gap is from Gap's from San Francisco. So some clothing history there. Did you guys go to the chocolate factory at all?
No.
No, we did not.
No, we were pretty limited on time.
We were limited in time, and we did all that, and then our Airbnb was quite far out. It was definitely in the neighbourhood. Like we had to get a good 45-minute bus
Yeah.
in and out, and we somehow fluked getting the bus for free because we didn't have.
Well, I paid. I don't know about you. I did that whole.
I just kind of jumped on and hoped for the
I
best.
think it's because I have an Apple phone. I did my Apple Pay thing, and it's like, oh, do you want to download this San Fran travel app thing? Did that. Paid $2 for the bus each time, and
I just hopped
yeah.
on.
But everyone else getting on the bus wasn't tapping or paying or anything. So
yeah,
I think we fitted in with the local culture of just not paying for public transport.
Good. It's very low. So you did all those hiking like throughout the past 2 years to walk the hills of San Francisco and bike through it. Was that okay for you? Because it's pretty hilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually alright.
Cool. We did.
Where we did an actual hike, didn't we?
Yeah.
On the day after.
It was called San something. San.
Or I actually dragged you to run it, and then it was
Yeah.
just all uphill, and I was like, "What have I done?"
San Bruno. That's it.
San Bruno.
Bruno, which is like southern suburbs, and yeah, you see the whole city from there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
really good.
We have a lot of native names here that gets confused with Spanish names. So we have a lot of Native American city names that either converted into a Spanish name when the Catholic priest came here to build the missions. So like San Francisco, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, they're all Spanish names. But here and there, you'll see some native names like Mojave, Tahunga. You're like, is that a Spanish J? Is that Tajunga? I'm like, it's not Tajunga. Next time you come down south, hopefully, to the wonderful world of Los Angeles. I think
never
California is
afford
great because, huh?
But if we can ever afford it,
It's okay. You could stay here, so that's free lodging.
you can look after your dog.
Yeah, we got those.
Happily look
We've got
after
those
the dog.
skills.
He's very, very cute.
He takes care after me, so it's yeah. But well, yeah, we could talk about that. And then he's I mean, I'm not going to talk about my dog because that could go forever. San Francisco's like it's like built outwards, like everything faces out. So San Francisco got really big because of the gold rush. I don't know if you know that history. And then people kind of came to the mountains for like gold panning. So San Francisco was like the port. Everybody like exported things. And that's where a bunch of Chinese people came through. That's why the island's there. That's the immigration island. But anyway, that's boring history. Going back to San Francisco, what was the one thing besides the bridge, unless it's the bridge and only the bridge, that was super scenic for you?
The bridge is always iconic, just because when you're not American and that's what you see and it's the history. It is when you actually see it, you're like, oh wow, that is like better than. It's like one of those ones that you're like, oh, it's just going to be a bit underwhelming, but it wasn't. It was.
I feel like if
Up
we'd gone
there.
there on a tour bus, it wouldn't have been as cool because when you cycle, it gets bigger and bigger slowly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're cycling along these beaches and through some foothills, and then you have to do a climb, and suddenly you see it, and it sort of pops up out of nowhere. And yeah, I don't know. I think it added to it during the cycle and cycling away from it at the other end because once you're in Sausalito, yeah, it's like a lot of rolling hills. It's small little towns with lots of cafes, and yeah, I don't know. I definitely added to it doing it on a bike. I imagine if we did a tour bus, we might have been a bit underwhelmed because we got off the bus, taken a photo, back on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have taken away from it a bit.
My family took a tour bus there when I was like 13, and it was like a California tour, like the tourists that we are. But it was super foggy, so we couldn't even see the bridge, and it just like popped out of nowhere. So it was like a Godzilla movie where like this giant like bronze structure just kind of like, and I was a child, so it looked so big. And then when I was on it, I was because it's quite long, like it's a pretty long bridge. Like
Yeah.
I was very not overwhelmed, but I was very shocked by the length of it. And I'm like, wow, somebody said I'm connecting those 2 points. Like they did it. So it's kind of crazy. Going from San Francisco, how long are you there?
Just 2 or 3 nights. Yeah, not too long.
And then you flew straight to Vegas?
Yeah, flew to Vegas. Our original plan, when we were doing the planning phase, like a few months beforehand, I was like so up for renting a camper van and stopping in like Yosemite and like
Yeah.
Tahoe and all these different places. But then it became apparent that it was going to be absolutely freezing cold in February and all these places, and most of the roads shut. in
Well,
Yosemite.
if I correct him here just
Yeah.
slightly, is actually he booked a camper van and was like, I've got it sorted. I've booked a camper van. We're going here. We're going here. I was like, great, that's fantastic. And I was like, so where are we going exactly? And he was like, yeah, I want to go here, here, here. And I was like, cool. Have you looked into it and like where we stay? Not really. So I looked into it. And I was like, okay, first off, there's actually Yosemite Park, there's no like powered camping site. So everything would have to be like we'd have to do everything ourselves kind of thing. And then we were like, which is doable, but we just wouldn't be able to have fresh food. We'd have to have like whatnot. And we were like, okay, can deal with that. And then I like Googled the temperatures and I was like, in like early March, it's still pretty Baltic over there, right? We're going to be in this like camper with just a tent.
Yeah, by camper van. I booked the cheapest one possible.
Yeah, with
which is actually like a Jeep with like a rooftop tent.
Yeah.
So you're just staying in this tent on top of it,
Yeah,
which like it looks really cool.
It did look cool, but I was like, we are going to be freezing in that, sleeping in there. And then I looked into the park a bit more, and they were like, a lot of the park is closed for the hikes because of like snow, and it's quite dangerous.
Yeah, a lot of people actually die in national parks and go missing. It's kind of interesting.
So we said like I knew we wanted to do it so bad, and I totally understood. But we said like it just doesn't sound like it's going to be an enjoyable experience if we can't camp very well, and it's going to be cold and whatnot. So we then changed our plan a little bit, didn't we?
You have to kill a bison, cut the bison open, sleep inside the bison, eat the bison. On.
Bit of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, cancelled the camper van, booked a flight, and then rented a car in Vegas, baby. But we didn't stay in Vegas straight away. We sort of landed, got the car, and then we drove straight to Death Valley.
Oh yeah, you guys went to the desert. Yeah.
Which is a tiny little town, sort of not quite splitting the distance, but almost splitting the difference between Vegas and Death Valley. Then we drove into the park each day because your pass is valid for like 3 days, and the park is so big you can't really do it all in a day. So yeah, did a few sites each day. Did like all those famous places where all the Star Wars movies are filmed. All the famous sand dunes and things like that. That was really
no, it's a secret. No, that's filmed in space. That's not. Yeah, it's in space. Yeah. Did you it was pretty cold there, or was it pretty warm? Was it warming up?
No, I mean we're out in a t-shirt every day. I think just because we're out in the sun. If to be fair, when there was that day where there was like a bit of a storm and it was windy, that was a bit of cold. But yeah, the rest of it was happy to go around in shorts and t-shirt.
You're happy to go in a shorts and t-shirt whenever.
Yeah.
So it was one of those like in the sun it was nice.
Yeah.
And then when it got in the shade, like it was new jumper kind of weather.
I've been lost in that desert like 5 a.m, and it's I don't even think it was a cold month, but it was like I'm gonna die. This is where I'm gonna die. Like I was young, I was dumb, like I did not have military training at that time. I'm like I'm gonna die. Like I'm like someone's gonna find my body getting eaten by vultures. They're like, oh, he's been here for like 2 months. No one's seen him. So, but was there anything there that was scenic? Like sunset, sunrise.
So scenic. I think the mesquite. No, the sand dunes were pretty cool. That was awesome. But it was the
Brisky Point.
The Brisky Point at sunset
that was really cool.
Awesome.
The salt flats were a bit different for us. There'd been like once every like 10 years there's like a flood. When the conditions are like happen to be just right every 5 to 10 years. So it flooded like a few weeks before we went. So there wasn't that like flat salt like lake, if that's something to call it. It was all kind of like mushy to walk on. It was really peculiar. And they said it's like actually this most people will never see it like this because it happens once every 5 to 10 years. So just happened to be there. And people go like stand up paddleboarding and kayaking inside the flooded lake. And it's like, you can do it every 10 years. So if it floods, you go do it. And so everyone was out there doing that. And we were sort of walking through the slush on the edge. Really, really different experience.
And the artist palette was awesome, like all the different colours, just bizarre how it's all.
Like green sand, purple sand.
Yeah. It was just awesome.
Just loads of natural phenomena everywhere.
It was just really hard to do too much. So we obviously went in the coolest month, thank goodness. And I was actually like, I don't understand how people actually can go and do these walks. And everything when it gets any hotter than this, it was ridiculous. Like it was already 25, I think, when we were there in the coolest month.
25 Celsius?
Yes.
We don't know what that we'll all convert it for the dumb Americans here. I think that's like 72, but 73
125 Celsius.
Said 25.
I'd say 25. I was going to say 20. Yeah.
I didn't say 125.
So I'm sure you know, but it's like imperial system. So, but you guys use kilometers in England, right? You guys use kilometers and
Yeah. No, weird enough, most things are in
Oh,
miles.
sorry.
Yeah, miles an hour.
Driving is miles per hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
guys use Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
yeah.
I don't know why we use Fahrenheit.
No, it
No,
confuses the hell out of
the
me.
whole world doesn't know why you use Fahrenheit.
And then
And
people
why you put the month first. Oh, why is the month first all the time?
that
Yes, the
started
month.
that
Do you
started with
know? Do you know how confusing that was when you're trying to book a wedding for the third of
Third
the
of the fourth.
no,
Fourth of the third?
fourth of the
Third of
third?
the fourth of the fourth of the third. Dunno.
4th or the 3rd of March too, right?
Yeah.
The
No.
the month thing began because I think they start writing, like the people who found the country, they start writing like this is they used to write 4th of May of the year like 1976. But I think they start doing month like May 4th, like 1912. So it's a fairly recent thing. And then online they should have like because there's not a lot of month, so they should just write it out like January, like abbreviate it. But I do that too. Like I'll put like my date for my birthday, and then I'll go to the next column like fuck, and I have to switch it. That happens a lot in Europe, but I don't know. We should switch, but Americans hate change, so I apologize in the greater half of America. Did you drive? So you stay there for how many days?
Two nights in Pahrump,
Yeah.
and
It
then
was a great Airbnb. It was
Yeah,
a
that's
strange,
nice.
strange little town. I'm not gonna lie. We didn't realize how close we were to Area 51. Is it? Someone's-
That place isn't. That's not real either. So don't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we were just. I've no. It was so bizarre coming to Nevada and just like going and seeing the amount of gambling that's advertised is like bizarre
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
gamble in the
Just-
shopping mart, gamble in
Just
the
gamble everywhere.
airport, gamble everywhere. Yeah. Gamble.
Wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
When you arrive at the were you shocked by that when you arrived at the airport when you got out of your gate that there's like a slot machine right there that people are just
Yeah, like straight
Yeah.
down the middle of the hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of like pro-Trump stuff as well, which I was just like, I don't know why I'm surprised. I guess just I don't know. It's just is. I guess here like you don't really see too many people for pro prime minister because we like to moan a lot here. So to see lots of Trump hats was a bit bizarre.
You're telling me people don't have like a Tony Blair flag or like a Johnson flag? No.
I mean, if you did, you'd be there'd be lots of words thrown at you. I'm sure.
I find it fascinating. You know, in London, where does the prime minister stay?
And Downing
10
Street.
Downing Street.
And it's like middle of the city. Like there's like it's like one fence. I'm like, if I had a truck to ram it, I think I could
Yeah,
easily
yeah.
just ram through it. Yeah, if I
Yeah.
was determined enough. But I'm not, confessing to anything here. I thought that was fascinating because everything here is like the White House. It's like from the fence to the house. It's like 200.
Oh yeah, it's like
yards.
loads. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this used to be a myth, but I think they proved that there's guns that pop out like from the ground. Like if it got really serious.
Well, I worked like 2 or 3 doors down from it for like 6 months. I
Oh
worked at
yeah.
Hall.
Did you install the guns?
No, I don't know.
You don't know.
I didn't see any guns there. It was all pretty old. Like all that stuff, all of the rooms in those places, they're all ancient. Like
Yeah.
there's like Wellington's old bedroom and stuff like that, and there's like it's got like this weird little staircase leading out to the stables where he used to sneak his women in. It was all really really peculiar. And then that's now like someone's office, and it's just like what? Yeah.
That is
So-
the one amazing thing about London and England in general and the UK in general is the history. It's
Yeah,
pretty
they really kept it alive, the history for
Yeah.
sure. The plot's just.
A room for his mistress is now someone's office.
Oh no! So there's his bedroom,
Yeah.
and then he had a secret set of stairs built straight into the stables,
Yeah.
like beneath where all the horses were,
Yeah.
so that he could sneak people in and out of the building without them going through the front doors of the palace.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Back to Vegas. So you guys
Yeah.
drove back to Las Vegas.
yeah. Back to Vegas, and
We
then
stayed in Caesar's Palace.
yeah, stayed in Caesars.
Ooh.
Yeah, we only because we had a deal.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we stayed on like we stayed on a Sunday, a Monday, and a Tuesday. Like not the big days that people would normally go to Vegas.
my dad's an addicted gambler, so we used to get a lot of free rooms, and he would make up like weird excuses, like what would he used to say this a lot. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go to Vegas this weekend?" I'm like, "Yeah." When do you want to go? He's like, "Well, I'm not going. I just have a free room. You should use it, because it's expiring. He's like, "You can't go." He's like, "You should go." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Sure.
where is it? And then it's usually a nice room, and then if you talk to them nice enough, they'll like upgrade you if their room's
Yeah.
available. They're
Well,
like,
yeah, we just said we were getting married, so we got all some Gucci upgrades and
Do you know what? It wasn't Caesar's was not like as good as I expected it to be. No
you
offense.
thought it'd be better.
yeah.
I thought it'd be better. I
Yeah.
preferred our
Well,
second hotel.
Yeah, we were there at an awkward time because it was like the week after we left. I think it must have been like the temperature changes enough, and they managed to open the pool area
Yeah.
and all that awesome. So when we went, like all that's closed, so you're sort of restricted to just go straight into the gambling and straight back to your room. Nothing in between.
Did you guys gamble there?
Yeah, I mean,
We're not big gamblers in general.
just for the
Yeah.
sake.
We're just
You're there, and you got to do it.
I think we must have looked so out of place because I think we were just staring, and I was like, I don't even know how to get
Yeah.
involved. And I think we look quite
Well,
young.
we also have to keep asking the croupiers how to play.
And every time we turn up, straight away they'd be on us with passport and they scan it all and they're just like look at you like.
Well, if someone didn't look 16, then we wouldn't need help.
Take that as a compliment. That's not a
No, I'll take that.
yeah. Because I'm assuming you're not 16, because this will be a very awkward conversation.
Double. You're literally double.
I am double, yes.
Moving forward, what games did you play?
Oh, we only played roulette.
Yeah. I mean, there's an awful lot, but well, we sat down at the roulette table on night one, and I was like, okay, this is what you have to do, Charlotte. And Charlotte put some money down, and the first 3 rounds we hit. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like $400 up, absolutely amazing, like really buzzing. And I was like, well, we can't just get up and leave.
So I was there, let's run away with this. We're like $400 up. Like this is a win.
So we got to make the most of it. We're going to be down here for an hour before dinner. Let's gamble for the hour, and then slowly $400 becomes $300.
Very disappointing. It's like very deflating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So since my dad is an avid gambler, I'll just say that. But he plays very non-social games. He plays like poker and blackjack, and he's very like typical stereotype middle-aged Asian man, like stern face, doesn't talk. He's like doesn't say hit, doesn't smile when he wins. He smokes. Like, oh my God. And then I play very social games. Like I play roulette, I play craps, and that shouldn't surprise you, right? Like I'm talking to everybody on the table. So my dad and I were playing roulette together once, and he has no idea what he's doing. He's like, 100 on red, it hits black. He's looking around, 100 on black, it hits red. He like puts his hand in his chin. He's like, 100 on green. I'm like, what are you doing? Get out of here. So but even when I go, they'll have me put my ID on the table, like flat, and then the camera kind of scans it. They look at it. Yeah. So even for me, like I don't look under 21 or 18, right? But even when I gamble, they'll ask for an ID. I think it's just they have to. So I think my dad doesn't because he just looks old and he has a player card and probably gambles too much. But it's a crazy town because it's like one of the few places in America you could drink anywhere down the strip. You could it's like open all night. People are just walking by, like everybody who lives in Vegas don't really go to the strip. That's and I don't
Yeah.
I have a friend, I'm
No,
like, "Hey, meet me at the hotel. Like I have a free stay, so like meet me here for lunch." He's like, "Ugh." I'm like,
got to go in.
yeah.
Yeah.
We went to some of the like outlet malls as well.
That was cool actually. They were like good discounts, really good discounts.
Did you get anything?
Yeah.
Well, we bought an extra suitcase
So we could fit.
so we could fit everything in it.
So you're supporting the American economy. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you
Also, because our bags were like packed full for like several months, and like we've been living in a van, so we hadn't really been thinking about like traveling after the van. So
Yeah.
suddenly it was like, oh, we just need space to put everything together. Bought an extra suitcase. You
Nice.
just gain stuff, don't you, on those kind of trips?
which day did you get married and where did you get married, if you don't mind me asking?
We got married on a Monday night
Yeah.
in
Wild Monday.
in the Little White Chapel.
Yeah.
The Little White Wedding Chapel.
That's a famous chapel.
Yes, the
Yeah.
one where Elvis got married. Yeah, and they still have his. He gave them the Cadillac. So there's a pink Cadillac in the driveway. You can go and sit in and get a picture.
I think Britney Spears got married there too.
Yeah, I think she
One
did
of
as well.
one of the chapels she got married.
They had all their claims to fame on the wall, like famous people that were married
Yeah.
here. I can't quite remember who was there, but yeah, there was a fair few.
We were the last wedding of the night.
You should
At like 8 p.m.
I think that's like one of the most American things you could do. Get married in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys you were engaged in New Zealand, right? You proposed
Yeah.
in New Zealand?
Like July. Then yeah, so 6 months beforehand, roughly.
Yeah. Right before this started, I was talking to a friend of mine about like proposals, engagement. And I think it's cute, but like I don't have like if it goes well, I'm a fan. If it doesn't go well, I'm like, oh, like we need therapy for the man and get counseling for the couple. But I think it's cute, and then people get pretty creative, and but I have friends who are like shaking. I'm like, you live with her for like 8 years. Why are you shaking? And then I had friends who are just like eating food, like, want to get married? Here's a ring. And then my co-host just got engaged, and he just got married. Like, I think it's fascinating. So, how did this is more of a Charlotte question? That long prologue. So, how did James propose?
He got down on one knee. No, I'm joking. He so we were planning this ski trip for a while, and I planned it on around my birthday time.
Yeah.
In Queenstown, because basically you were like, got to go and experience Queenstown in the snow, got to go skiing, blah blah blah. So we booked it all. It was a bit expensive, but we knew it would be. And in all this time, I think in the background he was contacting my best friend with different ring pictures and all this,
Yeah.
which is great because they did a great job. And we had invited our friend to come and join for part of it because she was in Wellington. So how apparently it went was we had gone skiing the first day, and you didn't actually have an idea really when you were going to do it. You just had this ring burning a hole in your pocket. You weren't sure, and you kept thinking you were going to lose it.
Yeah.
And he was a bit quiet on the plane on the way there. I kept asking, "You okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, just looking at the view," which was a spectacular view. And we were skiing, and I remember like just saying, "Oh, I've got a bit of a headache. I might just need to stop and have a drink of water, paracetamol." So we stopped off at the après bar, which hadn't even opened yet. It was like 10 to 12. And the view was actually spectacular. So I was drinking water, and I just walked out, and this view was fantastic. I turned behind me, and I take a picture of him and my friend, and they're looking a little bit weird, not gonna lie. And I caught them on camera, kind of like hustling, talking to each other. I obviously didn't think of anything of it at the time.
Yeah.
And at that point, he had just told her that he was going to propose. Can she film it? And she had no idea. She was like, "Yeah, sure, okay."
Yeah.
Like trying not to show it on her face. And yeah, he came over and, "I'll have a picture with me." And then yeah, he's just started saying some lovely, lovely things, and got down on one knee, and I had my hood up. And then he was like, "I thought you were going to cry," and I didn't cry. Sorry. No, I didn't.
Did anybody cry? Did your friend cry?
My friend was, I think she was very overwhelmed, and people were clapping after. I didn't realize there was many people around.
We got some whoops.
We did get some whoops, yeah. And we went and got a bottle of champagne, little bottle of champagne each after, didn't we?
Yeah. And had it up on the slopes.
Yeah.
Looking at an amazing view out of the remarkable ski field.
Yeah.
See, I love the woman's story of proposal because men propose, they always leave out important details. Like they make it sound like it was like a heist. They're like, okay, I bought this ring and I was gonna do it here, but it wasn't working. So I was looking. I'm like, let's stop. So now going to the James question. Now that we have that, where did you have an initial idea? Like you're probably gonna do it that day, but did you have an initial place you're gonna do it, or was this kind of improvised? Like this is the time.
No, I knew I wanted to do it on the trip, and it was annoying because her birthday was like 2 days before we left, and I was like, I really want to do it on her birthday because it was your
30.
Oh, it wasn't your 30th, it was your 31st. But yeah, everyone's doing on her birthday.
You're
Just to
18,
make
right?
it really, just to make it really easy to remember, because like,
Yeah.
oh, we got engaged on her
Oh,
birthday, like
right.
super easy. No, okay. And then I had a few I had a vague idea. Okay, I want to do it on the mountain.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the opportunity will just present itself. It's a stunning place. We'll take lots of breaks. There'll be a spot. Yeah. And then I sort of had a few other ideas on where I would do it in Queenstown in general, or just in New Zealand somewhere, somewhere special. But then the trip went really, really well. And like literally day one of the trip, first day skiing, it was like, yep, here's where it's going to happen. It just was all fell into place too easily. And I didn't want to lose it.
Where was the ring on your body?
So yeah, it was in my inside jacket pocket. So if I'd fallen over, it probably would have taken a square chunk out of my chest, like that whole box while skiing. And
you hid it in your GoPro box.
Yeah, I did have it in my GoPro box. You're right. So that because
we shared a suitcase, that's why.
Yeah, but then also my GoPro goes in my hand luggage because it's like electro. I don't know, just in case it gets stolen or something. So yeah, that's how it traveled around with me.
Did you kept petting while you're skiing? Did you kept touching it to see if it's there?
Still there.
Why do you keep tapping your chest? I'm just I do love the whole backstory everybody has to create. So I've been part of like I never proposed, but I've been part of proposals where I'm like hiding, taking photos and stuff. And so I was a best man at a wedding, and I was there with the maid of honor. So like eventually, she almost died because we are like taking photos, like hiding. She tripped over a branch and she almost hit her head like on a rock.
Oh
Oh my
shit.
gosh.
But I put like my hand in there, but I'm like, this is getting violent. Like, we need to hide better. So we're like hiding in a bush, like we're on a stakeout. And I've been where I had to like clear rooms before to like empty out like a little nest on a like a beach point of view, like a awning.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tell people like they're proposing, and everybody goes, "Oh, okay." So pretend nothing's happening, and then they all walk away. So
Oh.
it's good. Who was it your friend from England?
Yeah, yeah. She's
Yeah.
a physio over in. She moved out the same time we did, just to a different city.
Yeah, she went to Wellington. She's still out there now, loving life.
She's doing 5 years now.
Mhm.
Oh,
in-
nice.
Yeah.
James was probably like, "Perfect, she's here. She could take photos."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The camera was a little bit old though. I wish I'd given it mine in hindsight.
Was this
You were panicking.
was this pre Gandalf days or like during Gandalf days?
Oh, during Gandalf days, but we flew down to
Yeah,
Queenstown.
we
We didn't
did
drive
fly.
that time.
So Gandalf was not around when this was
No.
happening.
Gandalf couldn't be the
Couldn't be there.
best man slash
Ring back.
ring bearer.
Now fast forward back to Vegas. Okay, now you're at Vegas. Did you know you were gonna get married in Vegas?
We had to make a decision because obviously I think we were always joking about it.
Yeah,
weren't
we joked about it for weeks. We kept saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, should we just get married in Vegas?" And then someone would go off and do some research and come back to me like, "Oh, it's actually only $200 to get this and $100 for the what do you call it? The license to get
License?
married."
Yeah.
Suddenly it was like, "Oh, that's actually really easy." And then I was like, you start making up excuses, don't you? Or you're like, "Oh, will it be like, can we register it in the UK? It's gonna be really annoying to get it converted." And it was like, "Oh no, yeah, it's all recognized. Like, don't need to do anything." It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, this is actually a lot easier than
It's the whole
expected."
point
yeah,
of Vegas,
yeah.
right? It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to
Yeah.
encourage you to do it, right? So I think he always thinks the pragmatic approach of being like, oh, but what about this? And you were like, oh, but maybe it's too quick to get married and da da da. But when we sat down and spoke about it, you were like, it's not too quick because ultimately marriage won't, for us, marriage shouldn't change a thing
Yeah.
other than just bringing us together like legally. And it's what we wanted.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter if we wait 2, 3, 4 years for that. We'll do that now and have like around this world trip, which we'll never like. We'll definitely travel again, but we won't do this again, and might
Yeah.
like not be in Vegas again. And I just said we both have very extensive families, both divorced families, and it's gonna be quite stressful to get everyone together. And I just both not very like traditional in the sense of having like a big white black tie wedding. And I was like, let's just do us. What would us want to do? And we both were like, how fun would it be just to have a bit of a wild time in Vegas and just do it us
Yeah.
two and just be us.
I should have flown in just to like witness and leave. I thought about it.
Mm.
But I think I was too late. I think the photo was already posted. I feel like Vegas is like a whole nother episode on its own, but we'll kind of move through. So after Vegas, you flew back to UK, correct?
Yeah. Flew back to the UK. Planning to wrap up in the next 10 minutes. I keep getting missed calls from my mum.
Just call them now, quickly.
That's right.
No,
Alright.
shit.
Do you want to call her during the podcast?
Just go
No,
now,
normally
just
if you get one
finish.
missed call from a parent, you're like, "Oh, it's fine." When
This
you
is
get
three.
when you get three, it's kind of like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is
I can carry on. You go and call and come
Alright.
back.
Okay. Hello.
Okay.
So after Vegas, you flew
Yeah.
back home, right?
No, we went to San Fran, and kind of a funny story. So we got married, had great time, and whatnot. Didn't tell family until we got home, and to tell them all, which was great. But we had to go to San Francisco, back to San Fran first. That's where our flight was back to the UK, and we had moved everything a little bit, and we had a spreadsheet, obviously, because he loves a spreadsheet. And on the spreadsheet, he had all the flight times, and he was kind of going off it.
Yeah.
And so we get to the airport at Vegas. We stood in the queue, and I'm like, oh, let me see if I can use the machine just to check our bags in quicker than waiting in this queue. Go in, and I put the number in, and it's like too late to check in for this flight. And I'm like, what? And I look at him, and I was like, this is too late to check in for this flight. And I was like, sure, it can't be right. And then we look up, and I look, and I went, oh my God, we've got the time wrong. We didn't put the times back on the spreadsheet. We're like, the flight's going in less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're waiting to check in. And we get to check-in desk and we're like, we totally got the wrong time, blah, blah, blah. They were like, yeah, you're not making this flight. I was like, oh my gosh. He's like livid at himself for not changing the spreadsheet. He's kind of like frozen, like, what do we do? Because our flight was the next day from San Fran back home. So it's like, there's no way we can miss it. So I quickly like look at the boards and I'm like, okay, there's a couple going to San Fran, but none with that company. They're all booked out. I was like, there's a couple. I was like, there's one actually delayed that's going in an hour. So I ran over to that desk and I was like, any chance you've got any available seats on this flight? And luckily they did. He stood frozen, being like, looking on Skyscanner, not sure what to do. I'm the one who's running around like, okay, like, let's just, you do that. I'm going to actually go and speak to people because there's enough people. And that was the last flight going out. And it cost us quite a bit of money for our mistake. But, you know, one missed flight out of the whole trip was not the end of the world. So yeah, we basically made that flight, got to San Fran, and we'd booked another Airbnb, and we'd done so well with Airbnbs until this point. So we turn up at this man's house. He looked very much like a hoarder, and he was like, "Oh, I've got it was advertised like a annex in the back of a house kind of thing." So we get there, and he's like still cleaning, isn't he? And he's like, "Oh, I was just cleaning for you guys." The room mustn't has been as big as our lounge right now, so it's a tiny little thing. And I was like, that's okay. But we got there and it was like proper, it was just bizarre. It was like a big bed and everything was a bit grimy and a bit dirty.
It was in like an outhouse.
It was an outhouse.
And like the path to get to the outhouse was just like
four
or five lawnmowers, random pipes, like all the random bits of things that just build up, like loads of half empty cans of paint. Like he must have had like all the projects on the go.
Yeah, definitely one of these guys that has so many projects but doesn't finish them. And then it advertised that it had a kitchen and stuff to cook. And I was looking around being like, there's definitely no kitchen here. So he was like, oh, I still need to finish to clean. I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to go and grab some food to cook. And he was like, you guys want to cook? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, well, I'd probably go need to clean our kitchen then because the kitchen's in our house. And I kind of look at the house and I just see like stuff everywhere. And I was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. We're just going to eat out.
We'll get takeout.
And we actually found a really good, was it Lebanese?
It was like shawarma, like Lebanese
type food. It was actually really
nice.
good. But that was a real, like, I was like, we're only here for a day. We're only here for the day. It was not a great stay. It was probably the worst day. The
last day of like 110 days on the road. And we just wanted to like sit in bed and watch Netflix.
And we watched a couple of films on TV and we just ate takeout and was like,
oh, they have a TV. That's good. They have a working TV. That's good.
Working TV, which was good. But
did you not stay at the same place from the first trip in San Francisco because it was closer to the airport, or?
I think it was booked or something.
It was, but in hindsight, I wish we had sorted it sooner because that was a great house. It was clean. It was tidy. Like it was a shared kitchen, but it was really nice. Whatever. But yeah, this was really very good. Do you know what? The guy was actually quite nice. I felt quite bad because obviously he wants to leave a review and I just couldn't because I was like, I'm gonna have to be really mean and I just can't do that.
Yeah, in the description, if you said it in the description of the Airbnb, the Airbnb description, he was like, good vibes only. If you're gonna write negative comments, then like don't stay.
That's a weird flex. So you only stayed there for a night and then you had the flight next morning. Okay, you made this flight on time. This time was on the correct.
Although there was another drama. My name was on both seats.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So that was the next drama.
It's better.
Yeah.
So we were ready to go home, and we had saved up enough British Airways fly points that we were like, right, we booked business class for the first time ever. We get
yeah.
We went like super early, thinking like this is going to
be
amazing. And we got to the check-in desk, and the lady was like, passports, we hadn't passport, and she looked at me and she was like, have you changed your name? And I was like, no. I was like, I have just got married, but I definitely haven't changed my name. She was like, well, you're not on this flight. And I was like, what? And then we were just back and forth. She kept saying, you're not on it, but his name's on it twice.
Yeah. So pretty much, if you use your spend X amount of money on this credit card, you get these companion vouchers. So whatever ticket you buy, like whether it's economy to first class, whatever, you get another one for free. And it was like, right, well, if we can buy one amazing ticket, we get another, a free business class ticket, which is like cost a fortune. And we cashed in all of our points to buy that ticket.
Yeah.
So we must have spent like, I don't know, $300-400 to get both of us on business back to UK. But it meant that I bought my ticket, and I could have sworn on my app. Yeah, I went in on my app and changed it all and put it all in her name, but then we hadn't checked in formally online, and I think that's why they hadn't seen all the data. So yeah,
If you just wanted 2 business seats class, just let us know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna put my feet up and starfish onto the next
I mean,
seat.
you are pretty tall, so I get that. My friends just took a business class to Italy, and then my friend's like half Italian. He's never been there, but he didn't know they're like divided. He thought he could like cuddle with his wife. I'm like, no, they're like there's a wall between where there's like a seat gap. So was the flight okay?
We didn't actually see.
Yeah, weirdly, even though we paid all that money
lie
to go
down
horizontal, like tried going horizontal, got about 2 hours sleep out of the 10-hour flight, and then just couldn't sleep. Just don't know, time difference or whatever, just could not sleep. So ended up just watching tons of movies, see tons of movies as you do, and soaking up
all the food. Oh my
this-
god, I've never
yeah.
eaten so much in my life. It was
we'd eaten in the lounge at like 4 p.m. and then
Yeah.
we boarded the flight at 6, and then had dinner, and then there was like snacks, and then because of the time difference and we get woken up early, suddenly it was like breakfast, like a few hours before we landed. And it was like, oh, I don't think I can eat any more food. I'm so stuffed. And all of those meals come with like free alcoholic drinks in business. So yeah, I'll have a glass of wine.
Unlimited too, right? Yes. And then you're not driving, so why not go crazy? My first time in business class, or I think it was business class, not first class, I was eating a snack like on the way to the airport, and my friend like slapped my hand. And I'm like, why? He's like, there's free food at the lounge, and they're gonna give you free food on the flight, so don't. I think I was flying to like LA to New York, I think, or LA to Florida. And I'm like, you didn't have to slap my hand. But I was in the lounge for I think 3 hours.
Yeah.
So,
I think we were around that.
yeah. And I was like, and then they have such good like quick food that you could just kind of eat over and over again. So I think lounges kind of spoil you. Like once you know that life and you have hours, I'm gonna get there. And then if you take especially a long flight as like a business class or first class, it's like, yeah, whole different world, right? So when you got to London, where'd you land? Gatwick or Heathrow or?
Heathrow.
You can't go to Gatwick from.
Yeah, San Fran. A lot of the longer
They all
international
go to
flights all go to
Heathrow
Heathrow.
mostly.
There's an LA to Gatwick.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot who flies there, but there's an LA to Gatwick because I always take Gatwick, whatever that train is that takes you to the main station. So I've done that like 2 to 3 times now. So you got to London, met family, and I'm sure that's detailed, so we'll go through that. But let's fast forward. So you did family time for a while. When did you start your Scotland trips?
So we've been in Scotland for like
since just before April because I started working.
I think it was like the end of April. It was like 24th or something like. Oh yeah, we did some more house sitting up in Scotland. So we house sat 9 chickens and a dog for like 2 weeks, and then
sounds like a joke.
Yeah, 9 chickens. And you know what? Looking after chickens is so cool. They're so low maintenance, and they
just say that though. There's shit everywhere. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there is poop everywhere, but they eat all the green waste, and they give you free eggs every day. It's great.
They just eat all your garden crops.
Yeah,
and there's bird flu.
I mean, but I like them. They were cool, and you can just stare at them for like hours, and they have such little like.
They do have personalities.
Yeah, they do have a lot of personality.
I just like how smooth they are. Like when you pet them, it was like a nice texture. Like I never thought chickens will be like rough, like when you pet them, but I thought that was kind of nice. But I met some angry roosters before in my life. I think it was like trained to fight, and then they like the cot ring got broken up, so now it's just a pet. But it was angry. Like my grandma had a farm. There was some angry chicken in there. I'm like, and I used to be petrified of birds when I was a child. Like petrified.
I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah.
To be fair. I kept my distance.
Yeah.
When I was a child, an eagle like maybe a meter away from me too, like spread its wing, and then my dad said I froze. He said I went like it was so scary. I never think something like expands so big like front of me, like as a child too, and then it's like it looks angry. It looks like it could peck my eyes out. Now I think I would love a pet eagle that like brings me notes and flies to my arm and sits on my shoulder. Okay, so you were animal/house sitting, and then Charlotte, you have a job in Scotland? Is that how you ended up there? Okay.
Yeah, I have a job in Scotland as physio. So yeah, I work in a clinic basically, and I work in like trying to get people fit for work again, or
Okay.
trying to prevent them going off work. So I work with everyone really, but I'm working a lot with oil and gas workers because this is oil and gas.
So Aberdeen, where we're living at the moment, is like the gateway to all of the North Shore oil fields.
Yeah, one of my friend is from Aberdeenshire, and then he works for Shell. Him and his dad.
Yeah.
I work for we're employed by BP and Total, our company.
Yeah.
So I do like lots of medicals on people that have injured themselves and they need to go back offshore, and they're like got some real quite heavy jobs and lifting. So I need to assess that they're actually ready to go back, and it's quite it can be quite a lot of responsibility because you're the one that actually says yes or no, along with the doctor, whether or not they can go back on offshore.
They just throw them in the ocean when things aren't going well. They just go like, done with you, off the plank. That's why do you think Shell has so much money? They just kill their workers and they just move on, right? How long have you guys been up there?
2 months.
Just shy of 2 months, maybe. Yeah, and now we moved into a flat. I start work next Tuesday, and yeah, we're hoping to just get out into the mountain with Gandalf. Mountains, Gandalf. Yeah, that's the plan. Get out into the mountains. There's loads of Munros here, which are all like 1,000-meter plus mountains.
Yeah.
There's like 281 to go and do, and we've done 2 so far. So another 279 Munros to go.
Why do they call them Munros? Like, why don't they call them mountains?
I need to actually look into that. It's like why they call them locks, right? I don't.
Yeah. They're not lakes. They're locks. I think. I could be so called out for this. I want to say there's a guy called something Monroe, like James Monroe, William Monroe.
James Monroe, like our president.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have some rapid fire questions because I don't think we did this last time, did we? I think I forgot. It was like favorite color, favorite number, because
maybe
we did. No,
because I would have got both answers, right? It's not like I don't think you guys have the same favorite color, same favorite number. I have a personal question for Charlotte right before we start this. Have you ever thought about, because did you legally change your last name?
No, not yet.
You ever thought about? Oh, go ahead.
I've just got lots of flights booked in
in the other name.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Yeah, getting on that plane's more important than changing your name. That you have plenty of. You're 20, so you have plenty of time to change your name. Have you ever thought about triple hyphenating your name?
Oh, this is
you know what? It was definitely a conversation.
A conversation for sure, because it's a strange one, as in like identity and being like, I've been known as this name forever, and his nickname still for me is Stowley. Like my last name is Stow, and he calls me Stowley. Like it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever really lose that, and I guess I won't. But yeah, Stow Bertram Smith is a mouthful.
But it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to say.
And the forms filling out the forms would just be.
Yeah, that'd be bad. And then spelling things out phonetically would be pretty bad too. But
yeah,
but I want to bring back. Remember, like your people back in the day. You know, they have like titles like James Bertram Smith, the Duke of Wellington, 8th Windsor of
like Bridgerton style.
Nottingham, Sheriff of like. I want that back. That's what I call my dog. My dog has a lot of regal titles because he's great. But I want people to be like, you know, like Lady Charlotte from
Middle Earth.
The fair lady of James, like a long title, and people introduce you as you come in. But that's just my fantasy. All right, back to questions. All right, so answer however you want to. It's just quick questions, and then whoever answers first, it's not a quiz, so just whatever comes to your mind. Okay, so favorite number?
2.
3.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Green.
Favorite place to visit?
New Zealand.
Italy.
Oh, Italy is a close one as well. Oh, yeah,
Italy or New Zealand. Do you want to know when you die or how you die?
Neither.
How for me, for sure. I don't need to know when.
Oh no, I'm gonna say when. No,
that's boring. Ignorance is bliss, man.
Because then you'll just avoid that activity. What if it was like on the toilet? You're like, well, I'm never going to the toilet again.
That's a pretty impossibility.
Good. What's for dinner, or what was for dinner?
Oh, we just had chili con carne with nachos and Mexican style rice.
Very good.
It would have been hilarious if you guys had a different answer right now. But
Yeah.
will you rather share your search history with the world or your credit card statement,
Credit card statement.
Sir James?
I don't even Google stuff anymore. You just think like the only time I Google things.
Everyone Google stuff. My search history is wild.
Yeah, but normally it's because I'm in the middle of a chat and I'm trying to prove that I'm right. So it'll be like, what year was this made?
In the search history tonight is why is it called a Monroe?
Yeah, that'll be it. I mean, I've got a card. Yeah, go on then, search history.
Search history. This is a tough one just because you guys are a couple. Do you think women have men figured out better or men have women figured out better?
Men definitely don't have women.
Yeah, I think women definitely have men figured out.
Yeah, for sure.
I think many have men figured out.
If you could bring back one thing from your past, what would it be? And it could be physical, metaphysical, it could be emotions or a mental state.
Gandalf.
Oh, Gandalf. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That is good.
That's good. Listen to part 1, people. That's where you get the Gandalf answer. If you could go anywhere and time, money, vacation, logistics wasn't an issue, where would you go?
The Galapagos Islands.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah, I'd really like to do South America. And Australia. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say Australia. Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Be so cool.
Did you guys didn't go over there while you were in New Zealand? Was it because of COVID? Right?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
We did like this time, like you don't really forget how big Australia is. It's bigger than like the whole of Europe.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like nothing in the middle, right? Everybody's like coastal. Yeah. You don't have to go in too details. Worst travel experience.
Or I stayed in I had the worst hostel experience in my life in Bangkok.
I really
Is
want
that
to
what you
ask
said?
that later. Can you explain that in a sentence or two?
Okay, so I did a little like solo travel thing back in like 2019. And yeah, I was in Bangkok. I was in one of the islands near Bangkok, and I bought one of these like a ticket. Like the guy says, "Oh yeah, it'll take you like 5-6 hours." Oh great, that includes the ferry, the coach, everything to get all the way over there. And it just took like 5-6 hours longer than he told me it would, and it was just horrendous experience. I was like dehydrated to anything on this bus. Finally got into Bangkok at like 2 a.m. Didn't know where the hell I was going. My phone was out of battery. Like I was trying to find this hostel, asking people. And it's like 7 o'clock at night, but it was still like really heaving because it's like, Asian city, everything's sort of busy at night. I walk across this road and they just laid fresh tarmac and my flip-flops got stuck in the floor in the tarmac. And then I just had to just run off and leave my flip-flops behind. So I was barefoot walking around Bangkok trying to find this hostel, eventually find this hostel, 3 a.m., ring the buzzer a few times. Someone eventually like opens like, oh yeah, checkout's like way closed, but fuck it, like we'll show you to your room. Show me to a room, and there's like 4 empty bunk beds, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I've got a room to myself.
Yeah.
Get in this bed, like get my phone on charge, like get into bed. Like, okay, that was a really crazy long day. Like, been traveling since like 7 a.m. It's now like 3 a.m. Get in on my phone, go to bed. Within like 5 minutes of me turn the light off, this like couple come back in that have obviously like just met like 5 minutes ago. Didn't realize I was beneath them. Hopped onto the bunk above me. There's 4 other bunks in this room. The bunk above me. And then just like had sex for like 4 hours and repeatedly, like really loudly. And I just had no sleep. And it was just so fucking awkward. So yeah, like definitely worst travel experience ever.
Charlotte, do you have anything to top that?
No, I wouldn't say anything to top that. I'd say worst travel experience. No, that was it. I've probably been in Morocco with my other female friend and just being like followed around a bit by men. A little bit. It wasn't the best. Morocco was like one of the best experiences, but also like worse for that. So
like, and then I'm assuming it wasn't for like a block. Like it wasn't for like a short city block. I'm sure they followed you for a while.
It was more like, we'd got a taxi to our riad, but the riads were all through the old town and you have to like walk to them through a cobbled street. And the taxi driver just dropped us off and then said, this man will show you to your riad. And we were like, okay, like weird, but okay. So this man just walked us. It must have been like a 2-minute walk around in the night. And we got to our riad, knocked on the door, and he just suddenly turned and went, you give me money now. And we were like, no, we already paid the cab driver. Like, like it was really odd. And then he just like kept harassing us for money. And my friend's quite stern and she was like, no. And he was getting quite irate at us. And luckily the man that owned the riad, like, opened the door and was like, kind of leave my guests alone. And they started arguing. And then the guy was like, oh yeah, he said he's going to come back tomorrow for his money. And we were like, no, no chance. So that was like the first experience. And then second experience, we got lost in the Medina and we found this girl who'd been led down, like lost on her own by some men, like trying to take her down some weird side street. So I was like, no, you can come with us. So it is a little bit like Morocco is fantastic, but I think when you go over as a white person, I think it's just a lot of it's money to them, and they just want money. So I don't think anything would have bad happened to us. I didn't feel unsafe. I just felt frustrated that people kept asking me for money, and just even like if you were like taking a video on your phone, they'd be like, give me some money. I was like, no, I'm not giving you money. We gave a lot of money to our tour guides and our taxi drivers, and because they didn't get paid much by the company, so we give them extra like tips and stuff.
I'm not trying to make a joke out of it, but when I was younger, I think because I was thinner, like people would kind of like try to like bully me, like intimidate me into something. And I'm pretty aggressive, and I used to drink a lot, so I used to get rid of it. But now I just tell them like fuck off. Like I literally just tell them fuck off. I go fuck off, and then I get into their face before they get into mine. I go, I don't have cash. You should have fucking said this before, but you do not have to do that. That is not a good. Moving on. What are your must travel essentials? So besides passport and phone chargers.
Good tea bags, like Yorkshire tea.
Oh
standard.
yeah, some good British tea bags.
Good British tea bags. That's
Do you
always
guys
in our bag.
do you guys have like if I open up your suitcase, there's like a set of tea bags
Yeah,
there?
there'll be some tea bags in there.
Yeah, definitely have tea bags.
Where was this in Croatia? I was like freezing.
Yeah, we were cold in there.
Yeah, needed a good brew. What else? The standard stuff everyone has, like packing cubes and like that. They're pretty game changers.
Sun cream.
Yeah.
Protect that skin.
Oh, packing cubes are very underrated. I feel like everyone should get packing cubes. I feel like more people are on it now. But anything unusual?
Tea bags is pretty unusual from our end of things.
Have you had airport tea bag issues? They're like, what is this? English tea?
No, it's not.
But you don't want to get caught out because most places they have tea bags, but they're the really shit tea bags. So we gotta have prime, good quality tea.
Good quality tea.
Okay.
So that's Yorkshire tea, and then you've got
English breakfast.
Twinings is good. Barry's tea is good. Irish tea, Barry's is good. They're probably my three favorites.
I drink iced tea because I'm a trashy American human. So I know in it like you guys have like afternoon tea and stuff. And it's like super expensive. I went to London and I did an afternoon tea thing and it wasn't cheap. It was
it would have been one of those. They serve you like cheap. It's one of those things. Yeah, there's a big markup on that for tourism because it's not a lot. It's like little finger sandwiches and some cakes, and you think, oh, I'm not gonna spend like that much money on some cakes.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't think we've ever done it.
I know what it is though.
Yeah, I know, but I think we did it in Bali.
Yeah, that's heroic.
What a place.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, also got to have a really, really shit shirt. Like, I don't know. I have a few random ones with like elephants and things on, and just a really flowery shit shirt. Got to have one of those.
Like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah,
kind of like a Hawaiian shirt, but like really like trashy and cheap. Normally from like your Vietnam market.
It'd be like $2 max.
Nice.
What about footwear? You always have some good footwear.
Flip flops that get stuck in places.
Yeah.
Sliders.
Yeah.
Have to have sliders.
Gotta have a pair of slides.
I had sliders everywhere.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I think that's about it, really. Yes.
Speaking of traveling, would you like to time travel to the future or go back in time?
Ooh.
Oh, that is so tough.
That is so rogue. Nah, I don't think I'd like to go to the future because if I like see something I don't like, then I'll be like, what the heck? Maybe the past, because then at least I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Like,
depends where we are. But yeah, I think go back. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you go back. Both of you will go back.
Yeah.
I would love to go to the future and like peek, but don't ask questions and just come back and go. Because I think if
this person, I'd be like, how did I get there? What if this? What if that?
Oh yeah, I would, because I what I want to do is the Back to the Future thing. Go back and look at the sports almanac and look at the stock market, take notes, come back and just get rich. But I think I would dive in too deep. They're like, you die in a very brutal fashion. I'm like, why and how? And then I'm deep down this rabbit hole in Back to the Future Part 6. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, what did you have for dinner?
It's not dinner time yet. It's lunchtime. And then I think I'm going to have shawarma just because you said that and it like kind of ring a bell.
I have a question for you. We're watching this program about, there's this British comedian called Romesh.
Ranganathan.
Yeah.
He goes traveling to it's called Misadventures, and he goes to like all these places that are not common tourist destinations because they have like a bad rep.
Yeah.
Like, where's he been? He's been to Sierra Leone. He's been to Haiti. He's
Yeah.
been to lots of places where they're like famous for violence
Bosnia.
or civil unrest, things like that. And
Yeah.
he says why they might be good tourist destinations. And he just went to Bosnia, and they're talking about Serbia, and I can't remember why, but when we spoke in person, I remember you saying that Serbia was your favorite country in Europe, or something words to that effect.
It was Bosnia, I think.
Bosnia.
Bosnia and Croatia is one of my favorite countries. And
Yeah.
it's so weird to me because they had a recent war, right? It wasn't like 100 years ago. And I didn't feel, and then maybe because I live in like it can be dicey in parts of LA. And then we also have police that shoot people. Like I remember when I was in Ukraine, I was hanging out with these girls and they're like, our cops used to take people in the mountains and shoot them. I'm like, my cops just shoot people in the street. So I'm not afraid to go to the mountains and get killed. That's nice. At least they'll bury me. Like, not just like shoot me and go, whoops. I'm sorry, police people. I love you. But I think it was Bosnia because I found Mostar very charming.
Yeah, I'd really love
Yeah.
to go. I'd love to go.
Gonna have to go. Yeah.
We're looking at Bosnia, and did you go to Albania?
I didn't go to Albania, but my friend Patrick, who was like the diver, he lived there for like a year and a half.
It looks amazing. I'd love to go.
I always tell people like, because you don't need a visa to go there as a Brit, right?
You say that. I don't know because of Brexit.
No, I think you can get free, but you just can't stay. They have this thing called the Schengen zone, which is like
Yeah.
I don't think Albania's in it.
Yeah, Albania's not in the Schengen.
Yeah. So you can go visa free, pretty sure.
Yeah, because Americans could stay there for like a year visa free, which is crazy. But I know it's a big drug route. So like when I was in Montenegro, I saw a guy open up a back of a truck and a bunch of guys threw a bunch of bags in there and he drove away. I'm like, I've seen a drug run before. Like, I know what it is. And it was like a random small town. But I never felt I walked around. But then again, like, I've never been really like confronted with violence. Only time I've been confronted with violence was like I hit on like a woman that had a boyfriend or a husband that I had no idea about. I'm like, "Where's your ring?" I've been followed, but I do like the maze thing and I try to confront them, like Batman. Yeah, it's an army
I'm
tech.
sure you'd have a good conversation with someone that followed you. I feel like you'd spark up an amazing conversation.
Definitely talk the way out of it.
I don't want to get kidnapped, but I want to know what they want. I'm like, my parents don't like me enough to pay for ransom. That's just not gonna happen.
I feel like that there's that meme that my mum sent me actually recently for some reason, and it's like the Simpsons meme where Ralph gets thrown through the car window, and it says like, if like I was ever like if you were ever kidnapped, you just talk them to death and they just throw you out the window. That's like
that's probably me. Yeah. And then and then more they torture me, I think I would talk more. Like I wouldn't like it wouldn't silence me. I think if they threaten me with like they're like, we're gonna release your real income to the IRS, I'll be like, "Wait, don't do that. I can't escape that." But yeah, Bosnia I had a lot of time, but every country has its like charming moments. I heard pretty terrible things going into Serbia, but that wasn't really necessarily true. But I engaged like locals pretty well, so I think I kind of just dive in.
Yeah. We really want to go see that part of Europe because we've done like some pretty mainstream places.
Yeah, mainstream.
Whereas we haven't really gone on, all those smaller states down south and east. We want to go visit more.
It's just hard to get there because they don't have a lot of flights in. Yeah. Oh, you would drive from like Croatia or all the way down?
Did you drive?
I was in Montenegro from America, and then I drove to Bosnia.
How was the drive?
Car. It's okay. It's kind of boring. Like it's mountainous. You see some small towns. There was a man hitchhiking, and I'm like, you know what? If my car wasn't full and I had a tiny little car, and then I had like bags everywhere, like I have my suitcase next to me, and this giant suitcase, and I'm like, I should pick him up. Just I'll either get murdered or I'll have a great story, right? So he was hitchhiking. I'm like, nah, like I thought about it. I thought about pulling over, like moving my bag around, but I don't even think my car didn't even have a back seat. Did it have a back seat? It was tiny. It was probably like size of like here. Yeah. But I would check it out. And then people in I went to North Macedonia. Those are probably the nicest people I ever met.
Nice.
They were so nice. I felt like everybody there like worked for hospitality, and then I was just like a guest. But I mean, I looked like a guest, but everybody was nice. I didn't have like one rude person. And then when I saw two men arguing, I'm like, what is this? Like people don't argue here. And then I thought Greece was nice, but I also seen them cause a riot over a soccer game. So I can't.
Very Europe for you, causing
Yeah.
riots over football.
Yeah.
It was psychotic. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
They're not even playing. They weren't even playing, and there was a riot. I was like, what?
You know, it's the Euros coming up. Like,
Yeah.
Y-
This
Uh,
year.
yeah.
y- your country did pretty well last time I was there.
Yes, we did do pretty well. I'm not sure this time. Where Scotland are actually the first game against Germany
Yeah.
this
So
year.
far.
And yeah, Scotland, bless them. Hope they might do well, but who knows? I don't think it's coming home either way
Yeah.
for England.
They have Jude Bellingham, and he's great. I don't even know
He
if
is
he's playing.
fantastic.
I don't know if he's playing for them, but he is, right?
Yeah,
He's
He's playing
playing
for England. He is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just been a bit of a mixed match England squad recently. So
I don't know why you guys don't do like a giant British ceremony before they play a big match, like have like like the Queen's pass, but like have a queen on a horse like riding with like
firstly, it's hard because it's England, Wales, Scotland, all separate. Northern, like we're all
Yeah.
separate teams, so it all gets a bit heated, especially probably England, Scotland, right?
Yeah. And I think Ireland qualified a few times. Wales didn't qualify this year, did they?
Don't think so.
No.
So yeah, if we had a big ceremony that was on the taxpayers, I think the
Yeah.
public would be a bit irate.
But yeah, it's still a huge thing. Like I remember, I don't know what it is this year, but yeah, previous year's World Cup Euros, like they have these huge fan zones like
Yeah.
across the whole of the country.
Yeah.
Like every park just has a screen put up, and there'll just be like 1,000 people drinking beers in front of it. It's pretty
Half the
delicious.
people are going to Germany to the fan zone.
Yeah,
Just not even to the game because they haven't got tickets, but they're going to the fan zone in Germany.
I went to when last Euros happened. I was in Europe, and I think I was in Ukraine for most of it. And then they did pretty well. They lost to England, I think, 4-0. But I remember the game before that. There was a park and they had a screen up. It was lit. I'm like, people. I didn't even know this was a thing. Like I thought they just kind of played like friendly exhibitions because we don't have. I guess we have CONCACAF. I guess that would be the closest thing, but we don't have the Euros. That's entertaining because you guys have star players playing. But anyway,
Yeah,
like,
it is a good competition, and we will be watching it for sure.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Well, you're away this weekend, so
Yeah.
you'll probably watch it.
Oh yeah, I'll probably watch it.
I'll be watching it on my own.
where James? Where are you headed?
I'm
London.
going back down to London. Pretty much all of my friends happen to be in like the same place at the same time, which like never happens.
You're going to play golf.
So, well, yeah, they'll be playing golf. I'll be attempting to play golf. I am awful at golf. So we're having like a golf day Saturday, and yeah, and then just go see family and stuff like that. Go see my nephew and my sister, and then fly back up on Monday, and then start the new job Tuesday.
Cool, good stuff. Last question, Charlotte. How was the hen party?
There was two parts of it. There was the Spain part, so we went to Spain, and we actually ended up in Benidorm for one night. Have you heard of the notorious Benidorm?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Super trashy.
Was that planned or was that like improvised on the spot?
No, it was planned because we went to a show and it was actually really cool. It was just like a cabaret type of show with food and drink.
Oh.
So yeah, it was good. It was like the perfect mix of like lots of drinking, but also like chill time. So yeah, we had her mum came. So that's we had drinks, and I've never seen her drunk, but it was great. Great to see.
Fun stuff. Is it usual for a mom to come to a hen party in England?
Yes. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
say so.
I think
It
quite
is,
a
yeah.
few dads go on stag
Quite
do's.
dads do.
They'll slope off like a bit earlier than everyone else to let more chaos happen.
Fun stuff. For those listening, a hen party is a what do we call it in America? Bachelorette. Why did I stumble that? So it's like a bachelor, and then you guys call your bachelor party stag party.
Stag party, yeah. Stag
Yeah,
do.
stag do.
Stag do.
So we've still got to have ours because my maid of honor and your best man have like determined to still throw us a
Yeah.
traditional stem. So that will be coming up in the new
Yeah.
year, probably.
And it'll probably be in one of those like Eastern European countries.
Will it?
Budapest, something like that.
Maybe.
Nice. Budapest is the Hungarians act cold, but like you could break it in. You could chip them. I'm like, stop. Don't get
It's-
mad at me because you lost the war 100 years ago. Like, not my problem. but it's very scenic. I think that's one of the most scenic cities.
I loved Budapest. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you jealous that I got to go to Chicago recently?
Yeah, I'm reading a book actually based on, well, it's like fiction, but it's also got like Al Capone in it, Louis Armstrong,
Yeah.
all the gangsters, and it's obviously set in Chicago. And I'm just like, yeah, I was very jealous you were there.
If you're super into that, there's a movie called The Untouchables with Kevin Costner and Robert De Niro. Check that movie out. It's from like 91, but it's about like Al Capone, Elliot Ness.
Yeah, I probably will after I've read the book, because the book is like quite factually correct in some sense. I'm just trying not to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds like a good
Yeah.
film to
And
watch.
there's a very dramatic. So there's a dramatic. I'll leave you at this. In the movie, not spoiling anything, there's a scene where they're all in gangs and these guys are like prohibition cops, right? There's a big shootout in like a staircase, and there's a woman walking with like a stroller and a baby. So she ducks and the stroller's going down the staircase like in slow-mo, and there's like bullets flying everywhere. She's like, "Oh no." And it's like it's like a homage to a very famous Russian film from like the 20s, like 1920s, called Battleship Popkin, like where the stroller's going down the staircase. So when I went to Chicago, I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go check out the staircase." So I asked one of the employees there, "Excuse me, where's the untouchable staircase?" He's like, "You want to go to the main lobby. If you go left, it's the untouchable staircase. And if you go right, it's where Superman kills Zod." I'm like, "Oh, Superman killed Zod here?"
Which way do you turn?
I'm like, "Oh my god." But yeah, it was like pouring rain, but there was like a whole photo shoot there. There was like a wedding photo shoot, and then they didn't close anything down, which just kind of happened within the crowds, and people just kind of like, because that wouldn't happen in LA. They'd be like, you have to get a permit, you have to like lock it down, like unless it's like really quick and you leave. But they wouldn't have you do like a whole photo shoot. Are you guys having like a wedding, like a reception party?
Yeah, we'll do a ring ceremony. I think
Ring
is the best way.
ceremony, because we don't have rings in Italy next year.
Yeah,
Sounds so
So-
regal.
yeah.
Well, it won't be anything like what you probably see on Instagram at people in Lake Como and getting like tailored in by a boat and all that.
No.
It'll be
Close family and friends.
close family, friends in a pizza restaurant, hopefully with some prosecco and
Yeah,
lots of
some silly speeches.
yeah.
It's Charlotte. We call it Bridezilla when the bride kind of goes a little crazy. Is Charlotte gonna go Bridezilla on everybody if you guys don't get pizza? Like, where's my pizza?
She's nice and chill.
I am very chill on them.
Yeah,
I get hangry because there's no pizza.
where's my pizza? But yeah, we want everyone's made.
Hangry is a dangerous. That's like one thing. Like any partner I had, I feed them well because I'm like, please don't. I'm not. Don't get mad at me, please. You can get mad at me for like stuff I do, but don't get mad at me because you're hungry. I'll feed you. Like
We were talking about this the other day, probably way over the podcast, but
yeah,
we were saying how there's like there's like 4 husbands in the world. You have like DIY husband that like, something breaks, he'll go and fix it. You're all good. But if you're not DIY husband, you call in the plumber or whatever. Then you have chef husband. I think I fall in the chef husband category. Like we'll cook every night and do all the feeding. Then there's garden husband, who just spends all his time in the garden and can do all the gardening, but is useless at doing anything inside. Can't cook, can't do DIY.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one more.
No, the last one was like, it was like a joke. It was like, or you have all 3 of these, but they don't exist.
Okay.
But you are definitely the chef husband.
Chef husband.
He is very good at the cooking. He keeps you well fed. It's kind of your love language because of your part Italian heritage.
The mother.
of
Keeping me
yours.
well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is this factual?
Yeah.
He has you have an interesting history.
Yeah, my mum's actually from Romania. Born in Romania, fled the Ceausescu regime in like the early 60s or 70s. When she's like 16 or 17, moves to Italy and then grows up in Italy until she's like, I don't know, 20s.
Yeah.
Comes to the UK, and then rest is history.
She went to South Africa for
she goes to South Africa. Yeah.
Oh, so
that also helps.
Is that how they met, or did they meet in the UK?
With your dad's South African.
Yeah, I think they actually met in South Africa.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
I know. There's a lot of that story. Yeah.
There's another episode.
Whole other podcast that.
Yeah. So that was fun. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us. Check out their. Oh, could you plug your Instagram, please?
Oh yeah, it's Charlotte _ James. Charlotte and James. And yeah, loads of adventure travel content on there. And hopefully lots more stuff coming soon.
Yeah, one thing I really enjoy, because I mean, I enjoy seeing travel stuff, and it's filmed really well, edited really well. Not to toot your horn again, but I seen the growth, right? Because I've seen it when it started out to like where it is now. So great job, good
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah,
good.
and I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in front of me. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, hey, you want to travel? You know, these people used to live in a van. You know,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
in another country. So stop crying about driving 2 hours to Cook camping. So yeah. All right. It's been fun. Thank you very much.
Great to catch up, dude.
Yeah, of course. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, see you soon. Bye.
Bye.